Okay, today I have prepared a nice question from IB math exam with the complex number and Timov's theorem. You might be aware of using the DMT and compare the real parts with the binomial expansion, as well as the imaginary parts. So I will approach first with the IB exam. I'd like to extend that skills for solving a very nice problem from AMC 12 question number 25 in 2023. Without further ado, let's get started. As you know, this is the Timov theorem in complex number, and one of the exam techniques is to compare the expansion between the DMT and then the binomial expansion. For example, if we expand with the power of 3, the first DMT expansion is given as the following. And then binomial expansion is given as the following. In sigma form, you would be interested in even power if you want to compare with the real parts, as well as the odd power with the imaginary parts. If you compare with the real parts only, you have cosine 3 theta from the DMT and then the right-hand side from the binomial expansion. Using the Pythagorean identity, we get only the expression of the triple angle formula of a cosine in terms of just the cosine. Similarly, you can derive the triple angle formula for the sine using the imaginary parts. So we have triple angle formula for cosine and sine derived by the complex number DMT, as well as the binomial expansion. And often the question leads to find the formula for tangent, as well as where you can use the typical definition of sine over cosine, and then use the Pythagorean identity so that everything can be expressed in terms of tangent. So now you are ready for AMC 12 question number 25 in 2023. I want you to take a look at this problem as you can see why the problem is difficult here. The reason this is difficult is that they do not directly tell you to use the complex number. So the first step for you to realize is that we got the tangent 2023x in terms of this massive sequences of tangent in the numerator as well as the denominator. But having solved the IB exam question, it realized instantly, oh, okay, so this is a 2023 angular formula. And of course, deriving such form from the compound angle will be very, very challenging. However, as we know, if you want to derive the angular formula, we simply have to explore the use of a complex number DMT and binomial expansion. I like to derive with the DMT with the power of 2023, and then you need to find the real and imaginary parts in terms of a cosine and sine respectively. Find their ratio and divide the highest power of a cosine in the numerator and denominator and try to find the coefficient accordingly. This is a very, very similar to what we already have done in the IB exam. Let's take a look. So at first, what we need to do is to work with the complex number and then the DMT of having the power of 2023. In that case, we can derive the angular formula of the cosine and sine respectively. And then we are going to compare that with the binomial expansion and group them by the real parts as well as the imaginary parts. Okay, the following forms are the 2023 multiple angular formula for the cosine and sine, namely the real and imaginary parts. Now we are going to use it for the tangent. We can use for the tangent being sine over cosine with the imaginary parts and real parts respectively. But please remember the question had bunch of tangents, so our job is probably to do with converting bunch of multiple of sine and cosine into the tangent. And what we typically saw from deriving the double angle formula or triple angle formula of the tangent, we often divide it by the highest power of a cosine. So what we shouldn't hesitate to do here is to divide by the cosine 2023 power on the numerator and denominator to induce something of a tangent. But I want you to please pay attention here. I don't have to describe every sequence in terms of a tangent. What we are interested in was just coefficient of a tangent theta to the power of 2023. So as you can see, we only have to work with the last term on the numerator, so sine 2023 over cosine power of 2023 theta, so that it becomes the tangent to the power of 2023. This will yield its coefficient being the -1 times 2023 choose 2023, which will become essentially just -1. That's it. As you can see, we can attempt this nice AMC 25 problem using the fundamental understanding from the IB exam, and I thought this was a very good question to encourage you to learn more with the complex number, and hence attempt this series of a difficult problem in the competition mathematic question style. Okay, that's pretty much it for me today. I will see you next time.